Hello, my friend. God bless you today. Do you have some prayer needs? Please post your prayer requests right there in the comment section, and we will consider it a high honor to pray for you. Today we're turning a page in our studies to begin these next few episodes and ponder the wonderful story of Esther, based on my brand new book. Yes, it's out. You were made for this moment. You were made for this moment. The book of Esther was written for times like today, written for the emotionally weary, written for the person who feels outnumbered by foes, outmaneuvered by fate, outdone by fear. It's as if God in his kind providence heard all the prayers of all the souls who have ever been stuck in a hard time. And he says to us, follow me. I want you to see what I can do. And he leads us to the front row of a grand theater. And he invites us to take a seat. He nods at the symphony conductor. The baton is lifted. The music begins and the curtain opens. And we are eyewitnesses to a triumph of divine drama. Now, the setting in the book of Esther is the city of Susa in 5th century BC Persia, modern-day Iran. The empire was to its day what Rome was to the 1st century. It controlled more than 2.9 million square miles. The empire consisted of roughly 44% of the world's population, an estimated 50 million people, and it stretched some 4,464 miles from what is now India to Sudan. To get the scope of the country or the empire, walk from LA to Atlanta, turn around and walk back to LA. Or, if you prefer, just duplicate a map of the United States, set the two copies side by side, and you get a feel for the breadth of the Persian Empire. The cast consists of a memorable quartet of characters. First, Xerxes, the king. He had a thirst for wine, a disregard for women, and he had convictions that they changed with the weather. He ruled over Persia from 486 to 465 BC. The book of Esther portrays him as a wimp, an accomplished drinker, but not much of a thinker. He was most comfortable, it seems, holding a goblet and delegating decisions. The story attributes to him no profound thoughts or statesmanlike decrees. Catch him in the right mood, and he'd agree to a genocide. At least that was the experience of Haman, the villain in our story. Yes, you noted that. His name sounds like hangman, which is convenient because this tyrant was all about death. He was a wealthy and influential officer in the cabinet of Xerxes. His jet was private. His wardrobe was tailored. He got manicures on Mondays. He got pedicures on Thursdays. He played golf on Fridays. He had the ear of the king. He had the swagger of a pimp. And he had the compassion of Hitler. Yeah, that's accurate. We see a lot of Adolf in Haman. Both demanded to be worshipped. Both were intolerant of subversion. And both set out to exterminate the entire Jewish race. Can't you almost hear Hitler saying what Haman said? My Bible is open to Esther 3. Then Haman said to King Ahasuerus, or Xerxes, there is a certain people scattered and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of your kingdom. Their laws are different from all other peoples, and they do not keep the king's laws. Therefore, it is not fitting for the king to let them remain. If it pleases the king, let a decree be written that they be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver into the hands of those who do the work to bring it into the king's treasuries. That's Esther chapter 3, verses 8 and 9. Those certain people to whom he referred were none other than the Hebrew nation, the children of Israel, descendants of Abraham, and the family tree of Jesus Christ. They were scattered throughout the empire. To Haman, they were inconsequential flecks of dandruff on the royal robe of Xerxes. But to God, they were a chosen race through whom he would redeem humankind. Now, one of the exiled Jews really got under Haman's skin. His name was Mordecai. Oh, you're going to love him eventually, but you'll be puzzled by him initially. Quite content to be quiet, he chose to keep his ancestry under wraps. But a person could take only so much of Haman. Mordecai, Scripture says, had a cousin whom he had brought up because she was an orphan. Now, she, speaking of Esther, must have been a head turner. The Scripture says that Esther had a lovely figure and was beautiful. That's in chapter 2, verse 7. The ancient rabbinical writings position her as one of the four most beautiful women in the world, along with Sarah, Rahab, and Abigail. She became queen of Persia and gained access to the king because of her appearance. But her story has relevance to you and me because of her conviction and because of her courage. God used her to save a nation. And God? Where's God in this story? That's a question fit for the asking. The book of Esther is known for being one of the two books in the Bible that never mention the name of God. Yet God is at the helm of the entire plot. He's turning all the injustices on their head. Grand reversals are God's trademark in this book and in the Bible and in life. When we feel as though everything is falling apart, God is still working in our midst, causing everything to fall into place. He is the King of quiet providence, and he invites you and me to partner with him in his holy, holy work. The headline of the book of Esther reads like this: Relief will come. Will you be a part of it? When all seems lost, my friend, it's not. When evil seems to own the day, God still has the final say. He has a Joseph for every famine. He has a David for every Goliath. And when his people need rescuing, God calls a Rahab into service. And when a baby Moses needs a mama, God prompts an Egyptian princess to have compassion. He always has his person. He had someone in the story of Esther. And in your story, he has you, my friend. You. Yes, you were made for this moment. God bless you. I can't wait for us to continue this conversation about Esther. Between now and then, find that book in the Old Testament. Spend some time pondering its powerful 9 chapters, and you'll be glad you did, and you will be reminded that you also were made to face this moment.